Andrew, welcome to the podcast.
Riley, I'm excited.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Let's do it, girl. Let's do it.
Woo! So for those of you who don't know Andrew is a former college basketball player who didn't get the ending that he had thought or scripted. But that didn't stop you, which is exactly why I wanted you here on Expert Rookie. You took that and turned it into your career. You turned your failure into a success. You built the coaching program Beyond the Game, a 12-week program for current and former athletes who are done playing and have no idea what they're doing, but are looking for the next direction. And you help them find that. So Andrew, thank you for coming on the podcast. Tell us more about this program and where the idea came from.
Yeah, I love it. So thank you for having me first. Super excited to be here. I think the first thing I'd like to dive into is just that I was playing college basketball. I was loving what I was doing until I wasn't. There was a lot of struggle. There was a lot of identity crisis. There was a lot of pain that was in the game. And for so long, it's all you know. For 20 years, it's all I knew, right? So then I make the transition from sport to life, and I'm like, what's next? What is the next thing that I can do that's going to fire me up every single day and make me want to go out, want to just kick the sheets when I wake up? And I was thinking to myself, like, there's nothing for college athletes after they finish playing. And that's when I got into my training. That's when I've been building the business and kind of building it around who I was and who I want to be going forward, but also just helping those athletes make that transition to life. And that's the exact question. I was with a coach yesterday and we were like, who is the person that needs help? And that's the question I asked, was like that younger version of myself, that college athlete who wants more for themselves, but doesn't know the right direction to take, doesn't know what to do. In today's day and age, there's so many things, so many possibilities to tap into, but having a guidance, having a torch in front of you of, okay, maybe I want this, maybe I don't want this, and taking that one step forward to make the action, to make the dream life that you want. I think action removes negativity, but action also creates certainty. And if you can have that action in whatever you do, you can move forward. And it's not always about the one thing that you do next. It's about, okay, what does this turn into? What does this turn into? Everything I've done to get here has been an accumulation of my life, which is pretty fascinating, cool to say.
It is very cool to say. And we're glad it brought you here. That's for sure. Did you always have that certainty or that understanding about action and mindset?
Yeah, so I think always growing up, I had a little bit of I want more, a little bit of that ambition to just be the best basketball player I was going to be. I wanted to be, take it as far as you can. But I wouldn't say I had certainty in anything else outside of the sport. Like, I always knew I was going to make it to college. I didn't know where I was going to play in college, Division I, Division II, or Division III. But I always knew I was going to get there, and that kind of mindset trained me to get there, right? Like, you have to be a little bit delusional to do anything in this world. There's a cool quote. It's like the optimists get rich and the pessimists are poor, because the optimists figure out a way to make it happen. But yeah, the certainty I think I always had with basketball, just from consistent belief in myself and a good community around me. But everything outside of basketball, there wasn't much certainty. School was always tough. I always like to laugh and say, like, I was not the best student. It was tough. It was challenging. And I didn't know what I wanted to do after sport. And it just slowly, by taking action, it slowly propelled me into having more certainty, into having more of a path that I'm building now.
How did you still keep taking action? Because I'm sure it wasn't just this smooth path. And like, even with delusional optimism, right? There are still those moments of really intense anxiety, really intense uncertainty. So like, what made you keep taking those steps forward? Even when you didn't know, or despite not feeling like you wanted to show up on that day?
I think it comes back to, who do you want to be in the back of your mind? I think we all have dreams, aspirations of who we want to be and what we want to do. And when you know that person needs to, when you picture yourself in 10 years, when you picture yourself in 20 years, and you're picturing that person, that version of you, then it comes back to, okay, how do I move the needle forward to start making those decisions? Even this week, right? Like getting to Austin, I came a week early for this event, and just a mistake, right? Like we make mistakes as people and we make mistakes as humans, but I was able to say, okay, what does the future version of myself do? And that's stay for another week and figure out how to figure it out. I mean, I met this one dude, I stayed with him for 3 nights, and then I met his buddy one night, and I stayed in his apartment as he left for another 4 nights. And it's like the universe and the world will slowly shape to who you want to be as long as you just take the uncomfortable step forward. But yeah, it's continuously putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that you need to do.
Absolutely. Walk me back to the moment you realized that basketball wasn't your story anymore and it wasn't what you had written in your head. How did you get from there to where you are now?
I think you go through challenges and challenges and challenges, and it's like I kind of look at it as like a sponge, and there's only so much you can take out of the sponge before you have to make a different decision. It's like doing the same thing over and over and over again is I forgot the word for it, but considered insanity, yeah. But it's exactly that. So I think when I was showing up and putting in 6, 7, 8 hours a day, just lifting, working on my body, basketball, how do I get better? And I wasn't seeing the results I wanted to. I was like, okay, how do I continue to build the life I want, the dream version of myself that has the things and has the family and has the what I want to be? How do I get there without basketball? Because for so long it was basketball's going to do it. Basketball is going to take you there. So when you have that realization of, okay, that's not what it's going to be, how do you step into a version that and figure out, okay, what's next? What is the next chapter? And I think that's what a lot of athletes think about is, okay, the game is done, but what's next? What do I want to do? How do I move forward? But yeah.
There definitely is a lack of purpose, I think, when you don't have a sport anymore. Yeah. And I also say that having gone through my own experience, like injury took me out of the game of volleyball. It took me out of my trajectory of thinking I might play college volleyball one day. Couldn't do that anymore. And then I was left with zero purpose, ended up becoming extremely depressed, extremely unhealthy. Yeah. Because the other thing too is like you stop playing the game, but you're still eating the same. And so but your body isn't handling it the same. Yeah. Your mind isn't handling it the same because you're not getting the exercise you used to. Yeah. So you're kind of just left in this black space of what the fuck is next? Yeah.
1,000%.
Where did you turn to find what is next? Like you said you started changing your mentality on the situation. Yeah. What do you mean by that? What are the tangibles?
Yeah. What are the tangibles? I think the biggest thing was getting out of the environment that I was in, and hiring somebody that is ahead of me that I wanted to be like. So always growing up, you spend time with coaches as an athlete and you're like, okay, this person did this person experienced and was that. So I'm going to learn from what they've done. So now it's like, okay, no more basketball, but what is somebody that has something that I want that can teach me ways to get there? So I hired a mentor. I paid $10,000 and it's all the money I freaking had and just started learning the different things that would apply to life. And that was definitely the first little bit of like, okay, I need to make money. I need to start getting out and creating opportunities for myself. So what is that? Okay, hiring a mentor. And then that turned into, okay, I'm going to start posting online. And then that turned into, okay, now I'm going to start working in the gym and start helping these athletes, younger and older people, just getting in shape, working on their thought process, working on their, like, you can push yourself more. I think so many people don't push themselves to the limits they are capable of. Everybody has more. There's always another rep. There's always another thing you can tap into, but it's easy. It's easy to just not do it. But getting into that field getting into that room kind of with people that are ahead of me. And then when I was in that room, okay, how do I stay in this room and how do I pick other things that I want to do that are going to keep pushing me forward?
Was there a moment in the time when you were going through all of this hardship? And I know you said that you were maxing out credit cards. You're traveling with no money, you're drinking, you're partying. What was the moment where you were like, I need to make a change?
Yeah, I think when my buddy, I tell him this all the time, but he'll laugh at this. We're sitting in a college apartment. I'm probably a sophomore in college. I'm like, yo, like, let's go make some money. Like, season's over. It's off season. Let's hustle. Like, let's do this. And I'm thinking, like, we're all college athletes. Like, we're thinking we're going to go, like, as a college athlete, I feel like we're looked up upon, like, you have it figured out a little bit. And I was like, let's go do this. And he was just like, nah, we're going to work this and do this for the rest of our life. And I was like, damn, like, that's not what I want to do. That's not who I want to be.
Like work a corporate 9 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was almost like a mirror, right? And that's what my coach talks about. Your coach, Nick, talks about is life is like a mirror to who you want to be and what you want to do. And everything that stems from anger and uncertainty and stress and anxiety and everything that you feel is like coming at you is really just your response to the world and your mirror to what you're seeing. But that was a mirror to me, like, okay, he's right. Like, I will be in that situation if I don't start moving forward, if I don't start taking action towards something. And I mean, it was wild. I like maxed out my credit cards and I got an Amex card. And my mom's like, how the hell? Like, why the hell did you just get an Amex card? I'm like, Mom, I just paid a lot of money. Paid a lot of money for this dude. But yeah, I was like, so I just doing those steps. I mean, I remember almost blacking out when I was paying that charge because I was like, I know I need to do this, but I can't like think about this like thoroughly. I just got to do it. And deep down, we all know what to do. We just don't sit with ourselves long enough to make the decision. And we don't sit with ourselves long enough to do the action most of the time. But if you really ask yourself the right questions, you know what to do. It's, can you execute and go make it happen when you know what to do?
There's so much fear around money.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to not having enough of it.
Yeah.
And when you think about taking a huge risk, like spending $10,000 on a program that you don't know if it's going to work out.
Yeah, you know nothing.
You have no idea. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, like, what made you just center yourself in that moment and say, I'm going to fucking do this? Like, I trust myself, even though I have no foresight of if this is going to work out or not.
I think you get to a point where there's so much pain of like nothing was going right in my life, like nothing. And I think when you hit rock bottom, as most people say, I mean, there's levels of rock bottom. My rock bottom is not nearly compared to some of the people we talked about today with this weekend, but there's levels of rock bottom, and you have like, you think you have things figured out, you think you're moving forward, you think you're attacking things, and you get humbled. And I think when you get humbled and you hit that kind of rock bottom for yourself, it's like, okay, you have two choices: continue to live in this shit or get your ass up and start moving forward. I think the self-esteem, like, trained, I'll give credit to my mother even, but the self-esteem she was able to teach me and instill in me, and the confidence that she was able to instill in me from a young age, I think also was used in that moment, because everything was shit, but I was like, damn, like, I still think I can do this, which I don't know. I would give credit to her in that moment.
Your mom sounds pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
She's a good woman.
Yeah.
What was your rock bottom?
The rock bottom was really doing drugs, drinking 4 or 5 days a week, not knowing who I was in the moment, not knowing what I wanted to do next, and not having anything, right? I think we we get caught up in having the materialistic stuff, sure, but and having this and that, but like for so long, like I said, it was basketball, and not being able to use basketball as a vehicle to let stress out or let anger out or get in that flow, and having just a tough environment in where I was. I mean, it was like always cloudy. I don't think there was a day where it wasn't cloudy. And I was like, dude, like, where's the sun? Like, come out, man.
That's how Syracuse was too. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And I think that's the rock bottom moment of like, shit, I need to get out of this. And for everybody is different, right? Like, that's not a crazy rock bottom compared to like what we've heard about. But I think you can, when you want stuff and then you're humbled with what you don't have and what you realize that it's a wake up call of, am I going to move forward and take this uncertainty of action, or am I going to sit here? And I was like, damn, I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be in this misery. I don't want to be in this stress. So I'm going to make the choice to move forward.
I think sometimes we think it's going to be this super defining moment. Like one moment is going to change everything.
Yeah.
And often it's all of the little moments that add up to like a realization of, oh, okay, I am making this change, or I'm in the process of making this change right now.
1000%.
Like, I know for me, when I started on this journey, like it wasn't all of these little moments, it was all of these little moments that all of a sudden then the fires hit in LA and I was like, fuck, yeah, I do need to do something different. Yeah, this is it. Money being energy or frequency. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that?
1000%. I think if you can switch your perspective and switch your understanding for how you treat money and how you look at money, you'll be rewarded 10x. People are so fearful of giving, but the only way in order to receive is to give. Why would anybody reward you for holding everything you have? And that's God, right? Like, God is the person that's like, why am I going to reward you for holding all of this that's not even really yours? Like, we go back to it. It's like, okay, at the end of the day, we all pass, we all go away. So all of this materialistic things are just, they're here. And I get people need to pay their bills, they need to do this, but I think that every little choice you can make to help somebody doesn't have to be massive. Even like what you're saying, that small changes, the small things, you can make an impact on somebody's life with just the words you say and the small impacts you can have. But I think money is 1000% an energy. And if you can tap into understanding, okay, I'm going to give $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000 with the courtesy and understanding that I might not get it back. But when you give and you give and you give, you will get a sensation of freedom and a sensation of almost peace of like, I'm doing good. And it goes back to, we all know what's the right thing, what's the wrong thing. So if you can help somebody's life in any direction, it'll only help your own too.
I think, not even I think, it sounds so easy and yet it's incredibly complicated.
1000%. 1000%. I think it all comes back to like what your morals and what your standards are for other people and who you are, and how do you want to leave the world? How do you want to leave your mark and your impact on the world? And I think a lot of people get caught up in, it's all about me, and it's not about you at all. I think we're really on this planet to recreate, and we're really on this planet to help one another get better. Because like I said, there's like, you get to the end and you're like, well, sure, I have all this money. Sure, I have this car. Sure, I have this. But what do you really have? Nothing. It just goes away. So if you can, this is where the levels of consciousness and kind of thought process goes in of, okay, I won't have anything, which means I don't have anything right now. So if I don't have anything right now, I don't have anything to lose. If I'm giving this, it's all right. And if you can have that thought process of, okay, I can give and give and give and give and give, everybody around you is going to get better. You're going to get better. And the world as a whole is going to get better. So it all comes back to perspective, right? Is how do you view money? How do you view yourself? How do you view the world? And what do you want to leave behind? What mark do you want to leave behind on people you know, people around you, and the rest of the world?
First of all, I couldn't agree more with that. And you sound like you have a very strong, very clear mission of what you're here to do outside of helping athletes. Like, it goes so much deeper than that. Yeah. You have a theory about people who consume self-development. First of all, were you one of those people who consumed a lot of self-development stuff? And then second, what is your theory?
First of all, I hated to read for 9, 10, 15 years of my life. My dad always like, yo, read. It's like, bro, I'm not reading. Like,
retweet that.
Like, I don't want to read. Like, I want to hang out with my boys. I want to like do stuff. I want to play ball. And I got to the point of like, shit, you might be right. And that's when I hired my first coach, right? And he was like, what are you reading? It's like, damn, I'm not reading anything, bro. I'm just living. But then you start tapping into books, right? Untethered Soul and Power of Now and Atomic Habits and all these books. Then you're like, damn, like, okay. So you start learning things, and that conscious level, that understanding of what do you want? Who do you want to help? Who do you want to become? I think just starts raising and elevating, and you start gaining knowledge. I think the coolest thing about knowledge is it never goes away. Like, you can read and read and read, and then you have it. There's so many other things that you can do. I can go to the gym 5 years in a row. I'm going to build some muscle, but if I don't go the next 10 years, it's gone. I'm going to lose it. But knowledge, you always have it. There's obviously levels, like you want to keep it improving and keep growing, but when you get it, you have it. And I don't think there's many other things in this world like that are truly yours. And yeah, I mean, I think just being able to have some sort of knowledge, being able to have understanding of what you want, who do you want to become, and who do you want to help, I think are pretty powerful.
Just to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Yeah.
You hit on the point that we can't take anything when we leave this life.
Yeah.
We're born with nothing, we die with nothing, right?
Yeah.
So what is the point of doing all of this, bettering yourself, trying to create and like help other people when like it seems like it kind of doesn't matter anyway if you leave with nothing?
Yeah. I think we all have one life, and the more you can experience, the more you can grow, the more you can love, the more you can appreciate. It allows you to live more fulfilling life. And I think when you can live that fulfilling life, it's better for you, but it's also better for everybody else. So yeah, it's not about what you have or what you don't have, but I think tapping into that sense of self and sense of who you want to be just is.
Why not go travel or do something like just go experience life, right? If you're wanting to feel quote unquote fulfilled and experience everything, I think people see other options to do that.
Yeah.
So why not just do that?
Yeah. These are good questions.
I got you.
Yeah. I think so. There's always ways and perspectives to look at where I am right now. I look at travel as I will, and I want to do these skydiving things. And I travel to Austin. I'm going to go to Italy in a couple weeks, which is going to be cool.
Hell yeah. That's actually awesome.
But I think building yourself first to then build other people and then travel. I think I've talked to a lot of older people, and when they travel, it's great. You can experience, you can love, you can feel, you can be out of your comfort zone. It's all these things, but it's not building you up in any way. You're not sitting with the discomfort of what you've done, who you are, and what you want to build, and where your emotions lie with that. So I think it's great. I think some people just travel to escape, though, because they don't know. And that's what life is, right? I think life is all an experience, and that life is all a journey. And if you're called to travel, you're called to travel. But I think some people try and run from who they want to be right now to try and recreate something that they don't have right now.
Do you see it as like a dopamine fix?
Yeah, I could definitely say that. 1,000%. But I mean, there's plenty of people that will travel and create experiences for themselves and then go create a life out of that. So I think one of the biggest things is there isn't one right way to live. There isn't one right way to do stuff. But I think it would just be curious and conscious of why you are making the decisions you make. Because if you are running away, if you are trying to do that, that's one thing. If you're trying to, okay, I'm going to go learn this in Egypt, I'm going to go learn this in China, I'm going to go learn this in Taiwan, whatever, and then I'm going to take everything I learn and create something else out of it, I think that's freaking awesome. But I do see a lot of people now that just will travel with no sense of direction, no sense of anything, and then they just get caught up in it.
It's complete avoidance.
Complete avoidance.
One of the big things that I preach is being lost is one of the most beautiful experiences of life.
Yeah.
Because being lost allows you to find yourself. It allows you to find other people. It allows you to find your mission and your purpose. But you can't do that if you're not lost.
Yes, 1,000%.
So maybe you are running from something.
Yeah.
But often we run from something to end up running towards something.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I feel like travel, while it can be avoidance, it can also be taking the time to find yourself.
Yes, it can be. I would agree. Yeah, I think, and that's the hardest part, right? Is there's so many different opportunities and things you can do in life now. So I think just always being curious and thoughtful of where your heart is leading you and what is it leading you towards. They talk about in the Bible all the time, being curious. And I think it's one of the most impactful things if you ask people questions, because people always want to talk about themselves. But if you can get them to talk about themselves, but they can also leave that conversation like, damn, like they were interested in that. And that right there is an impact on somebody's life. So I think too often too, we try and think about these massive things that we can accomplish without just, like you were talking about earlier, just chunking it down into one thing after another, after another, after another.
How do you know the difference between when you're building something and when you're running from something?
I think it goes back to, deep down in your heart what you're doing. Like if you were to sit with it for an hour, or if you were to sit with it for multiple hours and ask yourself the questions of, am I building this for the right reasons? Am I building it for the wrong reasons? Or am I running from the problem? And like if you really sit with it, you'll be like, I'm running from this. I'm running from that. Maybe you need to run for a little bit. Maybe you running is going to create an experience that you wouldn't have, and that's going to create a life that you would never dream of. But what does that come back to? Optimism and who do you want to be, and taking risk and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. But I think always aligning with and tapping into your heart of, where's my heart leading me right now? For 15, 20 years, my heart was leading me in basketball. It was leading me to go make those decisions and make those choices. I would show up at the park. Nobody told me to show up to the park. I was just doing what I wanted to do. And then at that point of conversations and being curious, and I was like, okay, my heart doesn't want to be fully in basketball anymore. And I was like, okay, where can I go next? And that was the training and building an in-person business and building that kind of facility and impact on people there. And that's what I'm still doing. But now also shaping it around, okay, how do we help these college athletes transition into something that they can align with their heart and build mass amounts of things. I think college athletes are so powerful because they have so much discipline already installed in them. And if they can allow their heart and allow them to listen to themselves without the distractions of everyday life and everyday social media and everyday noise, they can tap into things that are uncanny of what's possible.
When you're saying sit with yourself, are you saying meditation?
I mean, meditation, I think journaling is one of the most powerful things I've picked up in the last 3 years. Because when you journal and you write and ask yourself questions, I'll refer to Sip Drake here, Drake Davis, but he read something in a book called The Artist's Way that I also read. It's a great book. I recommend anyone who's listening to watch it, but it talks about morning pages. You write 3 pages, no matter how you're feeling, no matter what. You write those pages down and you just think about like what you're writing, but you don't think about in it, you think about it after. And every morning you just kind of get in the book and you just write your free flow of thoughts. When you can write your free flow thoughts, it allows you to just observe them. And when you can observe what you're thinking, you realize you're not your thoughts, but you're an observer of them, almost like watching them down a waterfall. And when you can do that, it's super cool to see, okay, I'm negative 2 out of the 7 days of the week. I'm not loving life right now a day out of the week. I'm loving this day out of the week. I'm loving this. I'm loving that. I'm not delivering. But then you can start picking apart, okay, what is going to spark me? What is going to boost me? What is going to bring the most out of me? When you leave conversations, when you leave people, when you leave environments, does it bring you up? Does it boost you up, or does it bring you down? And I think that's what I mean when I say lean into your heart, because your heart knows if it's going to build you up and it's going to fuel you and you're going to have that tenacity to just keep doing it, and your heart's going to be pounding for what it, like, just that energy, you'll know. And same with that and negative energy. You'll be like, I don't want to be in that environment anymore. But I think that's when you can write and sit with those thoughts for a period of time, you can tap more into it, more into it, more into it. And that gut instinct starts being spot on with everything you do.
Do you think that's how people find their passion?
I think it's the start of it, but I think you can't get anywhere without action. Like, action is the only way to find your passion. And like I said, if you need to travel to, if your heart's leaning you to travel to then find your passion, that's what you need to do. If your heart is leaning you to do this, then that's what you need to do. But action doesn't, or passion and purpose and all that, I think is a growth period that continuously evolves. I don't believe anybody just finds it and that's just it. It continuously grows with you as a person. And I think there are moments and opportunities that you're super tapped into yourself when you can pick up on those moments. And there's super intense opportunities that you miss because you're distracted or you're numb or you're outside of where you want to be. But yeah, passion, purpose, growth, whatever, is a continuous process that continues to evolves with you. You can tap into it at any age. I think if you can tap into it younger, though, you can be more fulfilled and more present in who you are and who you want to help.
Talk to me about the tangibles of tapping into it. Because I think a lot of people hearing this are like, this sounds amazing. Yeah. I want this.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to implement it into my life. Yeah. And like, people want to find purpose. They want to find that meaning in their life.
I think, like I said, the journaling is definitely a piece of it. Even the breath work we did this past weekend was very powerful to see how people reacted and see how people responded. I think it really comes down to how well can you sit with yourself, asking the questions of, where is my pain? What am I feeling? Like, what is bringing you up? What is bringing you down? And when you can understand what's bringing you up, what's bringing you down, and you're writing about it and you're consciously seeing it, bring the unconscious conscious is kind of what I always talk about, because when it's conscious, you can see it right in front of your face. So how do you do that more? Okay, you write, you think, you be present in the moment. But when it comes conscious, you're able to say, okay, this is what I want to keep pursuing. and this is not what I want to keep pursuing. But the more, going back to Atomic Habits, the more decisions that you can tap into that are fueling you, the more decisions you can make in that right trajectory that are eventually going to be like, holy shit, I found my passion, I found my purpose. Other tangible ways, meditation journaling is the easiest. I think the third would be spending time around people that are doing better than you. Because you don't know what is possible until you spend time with those people. When you spend time with people that are doing better than you, all of a sudden, it doesn't seem so far away. And when it's not far away, you start realizing, holy shit, like I'm in the same room as this person. Like I'm looking at them. They're making that face. I make that face. I make this stupid thing. All of a sudden, like I can do this too. So being around people that are genuinely doing better and pushing themselves and going the distance can put you in a different perspective and headspace that's going to allow you to be like, okay, I can also do this. And then you start taking more action of, okay, now I'm here, but I want to be over there. What is lighting me up? What is fueling me? And every decision, every single conversation and thing you do in your life, you can be conscious of and say, it's hard. It's very freaking hard. But you can understand and sit with, okay, is this fueling me or is this leaving me in the dirt? And that's why, I write every single day, and I probably meditate 3 times a week now, sometimes more. But because it's a constant journey, it's a constant process, it's a constant experience of life that continues to grow over time. So I could wake up tomorrow and be like, I don't want to do this anymore. But then I'll know in my heart of hearts that that's not what I want to do, and that it's dragging me down, it's losing energy. But right now I'm loving it. I'm on a podcast, we're chatting, like I came to Austin, like all these things are just freaking moving in a forward trajectory, and it's cool to just see and line up with, okay, this is what sparks me. Especially in today's day and age, I think you can literally do anything with social media and online. There's so many possibilities. It's just tapping into what fuels you and what doesn't fuel you, and the things that are going to fuel you and make you feel like when you leave a conversation or an environment, does it make you better? Does it make you want more? Or does it make you, it's okay?
I think that's a really key point that you hit on, with not just surrounding yourself with people who are quote unquote better than you or in a better position than you, making more money than you are, have the house, have the car. But it's finding those people who are also on a genuine mission that is similar to yours. Yeah. Because you can really easily end up in a room with a bunch of people who are just social climbing.
Yes.
Or who are doing it for the wrong reasons.
1,000%.
And you will feel so drained.
Yes.
And so lost.
Yes.
And then you're like, wait, this isn't what I came here to do.
Yeah.
And what separated that room that we were in this weekend, and for anyone who doesn't know, like, we were at a conference this weekend with Nick Comedina. Like, the thing that separated that room from every other room was that the people are genuinely there to help others and be on a mission to serve the world and grow themselves, their business, and other people.
Yeah.
And that is very, very rare when most people in the world are just looking at, how can I get material gain and luxury?
Yeah.
And how can I have the fast car and the big house? And then, as Nick says, when you get there, all of a sudden you realize you had the same problems you had when you were broke. Yeah. And you are still a broken person.
I can't tell you how many people I've met, and they say they have all this money and they have this achievement and they have this. And I'm like, you don't really have anything, bro. Like, because they're missing a family member. They're missing some kind of love in some aspect. But I think so many people get there and they're like, what was all this for? Like, what did I just do? But yeah, when you can sit with yourself long enough to understand what fuels you and what drains you, and you'll know. I think every single thing, it's freaking hilarious. Like, everybody looks external, especially with social media now. I'm looking external to find these things, but you know the answer, and you just have to keep living your life in the in the way that brings you up or brings you down. That's a choice. Every single thing's a choice.
You know me, I couldn't agree more. Literally, that's what I preach every day. So just fucking hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
To your point with solitude as well, it's really hard to get to that place where you're comfortable to sit with yourself.
Oh my God.
And I know for me, it actually took me physically removing myself from my environment, my people. I moved out of LA and I forced myself into this solitude, right? And like, quote unquote, yes, my mother was technically in the house too, but you're not surrounded by a social circle anymore. I was intentionally taking time to meditate, journal, pray, do whatever I could do to be alone.
Yeah.
And that intentional solitude is not easy. It's incredibly discomfort. Something like that. Uncomfortable. Thank you. It's incredibly uncomfortable, but yet it's exposure to therapy.
Yeah.
So the more you do it, the more it becomes easy.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people too, it's all I've known are these people around me and what everybody's been telling me. But if all you've ever known is what everybody's been telling you, you don't even know what you're telling the world. So when you can not escape, but disassociate yourself from all these voices, because every single voice has an impact on you, whether you like it or not. It's tapping into that subconscious mind. But when you can disassociate yourself from those voices, you can then say, what do I want? Who do I want to become? Not what mommy or daddy said, not what Johnny down the street said, not what this person said, not what I'm being forced into doing, but where's my heart? Where is my heart leaning in that direction? Is it more in that, am I getting that energy from this environment or am I not? But yeah, some people need that to get out of their hometown to really feel and experience it, because it'll force you into that environment. Some people can naturally do it and some people can. Everybody's different. So, but I think if you were to sit with yourself and really ask the questions like, do I like coffee because of Sarah down the street, or do I like coffee because I like coffee? That's a baseline question. Then it starts, okay, now do I like this? Then you start moving up. And what's fascinating is when I first started really tapping into who I wanted to be, I think it's a continuous journey. Nobody's ever there. But when I first started tapping into it, I was afraid that other people were going to disassociate themselves from me. And I was like, well, I'm going to lose friends. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that. And I was like, damn, like, I don't want to do that. But what's fascinating is when you tap into yourself, you almost start like trailblazing and people start gravitating towards you. And it's like, holy shit. Like if I just started being myself more, people would be with me even more. And they want to ask questions about what you're doing. They want to ask about what's happening. And they want to ask these things that, what you're creating, because going back, life's a mirror. So they're able to see within you what is possible.
Mm-hmm. And confidence is contagious.
1,000%.
People follow that. You said your biggest breakthroughs come from getting outside of your hometown or traveling. Talk to me about one of those experiences, or what are some of those breakthroughs that you've had? And also, why do you think traveling does it? Going back to our conversation from before.
I don't think you need to travel. I think you just need to sit with yourself for long enough. But typically people won't sit with themselves for long enough. So it's a question of, can I just force myself into that environment? But I think traveling naturally does it, because you don't know anyone and you stop hearing other voices that you're hearing day to day. So when you're in a completely new environment, you start realizing, holy shit, like my voice is the only one. You're looking around like my voice is the only one I'm hearing. You don't have Sarah or Johnny or next to you anymore. So when you can sit and be forced in that environment, you're like, okay, now I can figure out going back to what fires me up. am I in this room? There's nobody else around. So I'm in this room because it lights me up, or I'm in this room and it's bringing me down. And if I want to keep staying in this room, I'm just going to keep spending time around these people in this environment and this, or I'm just going to go the other direction. But yeah, that travel, that outside of your comfort zone, that naturally just forces you into it because there's no other voices telling you what's right and wrong. What do you need to do? What do you not need to do?
I know you said your mom was a huge influence on you. How did you learn to trust yourself outside of her?
That's a good question as well. Because even though she's right in many things, there's other things that I'm like, that's not entirely who I am, right? So I think just going back to sitting with yourself and asking those tough questions because everybody has that voice inside of their head, right? You get to a certain age, the voice starts talking. It sometimes gets loud, it sometimes gets quiet, but typically you're in a position, you're in an environment, and it's like, what would this person do? Or what is that voice yelling at me to do or not to do? But going back to the travel, when you can get out of that environment, you realize there's no voices telling me what to do. It's just my voice. And then that's when you're like, okay, now my conscious is here. Now I'm able to make these decisions. Then you can start trusting yourself more because you're keeping promises to yourself. So I think just it goes back, like sitting with yourself, then taking the action that you need to do. And I was able to take enough action by putting myself in uncomfortable situations that I was like, okay, I don't need to listen to this voice anymore. I can trust my own voice. Even though that voice might be right 98% of the time. There's that 2% that I'm like, well, I want to just listen to my voice. And when you can listen to your voice and start making those paths and making those decisions to move forward, that's what it is.
I know for me,
Yeah.
I've struggled with a lot of anxiety over the years.
Yeah.
Extra voices in the head, not schizophrenic extra voices, but like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that inner dialogue, inner monologue.
Your inner monologue is loud.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of high achievers out there who also feel the same way, where it's like, you're doing all the right things. You're sitting with yourself, maybe meditating, maybe journaling, but the voices in your head are still really loud.
Yeah.
And you aren't able to make a decision, or you feel like there's no clear path.
Yeah.
What would you say to them to help them start taking aligned action, making that decision, and being able to listen to the one true voice that's in their head?
I think writing is so powerful because when you can write, you can see. When there's everything clogged in your mind, it's hard to see it physically. That's why everybody likes to say, I can do math in my head, or I can do these things. But I feel like 99% of people are just very image focused. Like when I can see a picture, like that picture I showed you the other day, you're like, holy shit, it clicks. Because you have all these ideas in your head. But when you don't have it in front of you, it's so hard to say, okay, that's what I need to do. That's the process. So writing down first to like kind of see and understand, okay, who do I want to be? Who am I? What are the things that light me up? What are the things that I don't like? And consistently reflecting on those things day to day. And then it'll naturally take care of itself because you're like, okay, well, I don't like this and I do like this. So I'm going to do more of this. And then you start trusting yourself because you're like, okay, I'm doing more of this and I'm liking what I'm doing and I'm feeling passionate about it and I'm going to keep doing it. And then there's going to be days where it sucks. Like that's just life. That's just what it is. But the less days you can have that suck is going to be a greater, more impactful, more happy life. I think even when you look at yourself and write down I listen to Alex Ramosi all the time, but he's like, what makes a great day? He's like eating with his friends, getting a workout, and something else he wrote. But mine are very similar. Like, what makes a great day? Spending time with people I care about, writing and meditating, sitting with my thoughts, spending time with family, and eating a good meal, and then working towards a goal, right? Working towards making something happen. because getting stagnant, you just get in your head. But I think if you can get those things that are just what makes a great day, then you can understand, okay, how can I just do this 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, 30, 100 times, 200 times? And then you could keep making great days. And if you keep making great days, you have a great life.
One of the things we talk about in our community is having our non-negotiables, right, for the business. But I think this is almost more powerful to focus on what are your life non-negotiables.
Yeah.
These 3 to 5 things happen every single day.
Yeah.
Gym, journal, hang out with friends.
Yeah.
Get some sun in my eyes.
Yeah.
And you do that every day. That's going to create a great life and ultimately will bleed into your business, your job, or whatever you're doing.
1,000%. Because when you're truly happy in who you are, when you're truly happy in what you're building, what you're doing, it, like you said, it bleeds into everything else you do. And going back, energy and feeling, it's all connected. It's all rotating. And energy moves from one person to the other, and people can feel that. People can feel when you're so tapped into what you're doing. Even when we first met, you're like, I'm doing this podcast. I was like, let's do it. let's get on the podcast. Because you can just tell, you can feel the energy, the conviction, the juice is going. It's like, why not? Like, let's make it happen. And when you can start doing just what you love to do more and start doing what you don't love to do less, people gravitate, like I said, and they'll ask you questions and they'll start moving with you. And it's always uncertainty and unknownness is always scary in the beginning. But then it's like you have a torch or a flashlight and you see one foot in front of you in a dark cave. You just take the step. And then you see another foot and you take the step. And then eventually you see the freaking light at the end of the tunnel. But for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you don't see any light. You just see what's right in front of you. So if you can write down, who do you want to become? What does that version of yourself look like? How do you feel? What sparks you? What doesn't spark you? And you can tap into that. Okay, what does that person do today? Now I'm going to take that step. And then things start. You start taking more steps. The cave starts opening and you start seeing more clearly.
I want to go back for a moment because you said society tells young adults to find their passion. And you think that makes them passive. Why?
I think it goes back to like looking for the home run. Nobody hits a home run day one. Nobody hits a home run day one. Nobody makes the game-winning shot. I'm a big basketball guy. It's like playing with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. It's like expecting to be in that room when you've not even taken your first shot. Like, how can you expect to? So it's almost selfish to think that you can do that. But what that goes back to is when you're already there, when you're already thinking about that, you're not present. And when you're not present, you're not moving forward because you're in your head, you're not in your body. And it's good to have an idea. It's good to have a vision of where you want to be. But trying to find an outcome that you don't even know what it is going to cause a lot of stress. So instead of focusing on the outcome, this comes back to sports, focusing on the process. And what is the process? The process is writing things down, writing who do you want to become, writing the thoughts that go on in your head, writing the things that spark you up, writing in your journal in general, writing good memories, bad memories, writing good environments, good people, stepping into rooms that you're like, damn, do I belong in this room? I don't know. But what does that push you into? And then you hit a single. Okay, now I see some. Now I'm moving forward. Or basketball. Now I just hit a jumper. Now I can do a little cross tween, get to the rack. But it's a process thing. You can't land on the moon without building the rocket. Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes years and years, and just so where do you take that idea and just chunk it down? Like, okay, I want to find my passion, but what is the thing that I do today that finds my passion?
Well, and I think you said it before, but taking that action, even when you don't have the vision, the certainty, and just going after it anyway, showing up when you have no way of knowing if this is going to work out, but choosing to trust yourself and know that even if it doesn't work out, I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to figure out how to make something great out of this, no matter what.
I think trusting yourself too, like people struggle with that. And I think one of the biggest things with that is keeping promises to yourself. When you tell yourself you're going to do something, how long do you wait in between? Do you wait 2 days? Do you wait a week? Do you wait? It could be a big thing. It could be a small thing. It could be even like this podcast. Did I say I'm going to go do this and then I just don't show up? But that's a promise to yourself. And then when you start missing promises to yourself, you don't trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, you can't take action because you don't believe in yourself. But even the little things of, okay, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow and I'm going to show up at 9. I'm going to show up at 8. That's a promise to yourself. Now I trust myself a little bit more. I'm going to eat the right foods today. I'm not going to eat the cookies and this and that. I'm just going to do what I know I need to do. Another step. And then the more you can stack, going back to Hermosi and these guys that do well, is the more you can stack up undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. That's confidence, and that's who you can become.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that with the podcast, because I definitely did not keep that promise to myself for years.
Yeah.
Like I had started it in college with my roommate and wanted to build it into something great after we left college.
Yeah.
Didn't work out because I was so focused on creating this safe space for myself financially.
Yeah.
Right? And trying to be the version that I thought everyone else in the world wanted.
Yes.
And so I was like building the podcast all the time. Like literally I would go home and I'm like building it in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And then would never post anything.
Yeah.
Or would never do anything with it or edit because I got to find a job, or you make a million excuses for why not to do it instead of just doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
And then I did that again when I moved into my next apartment. I was like, okay, now I finally have the space. I'm going to build the podcast here. Didn't do it because I let everything else in my life, my rooming situation, my job, my mental health, which prioritize your mental health, but I let it take over.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing this.
Yeah.
And it was when I finally said, okay, we're not letting this dream die. We need to commit to ourselves. We need to go to Austin and start fucking filming.
Yeah.
That now we're sitting here today and I'm having a conversation with you.
Insane, right? And I bet your mental health slowly took care of itself. It probably isn't perfect, but it slowly started taking care of itself when you start taking action.
Absolutely.
In everything you wanted to do.
Absolutely. And this is where it goes back to, like, I don't think that SSRIs should be the number one, like, let's just give it to you if you have fucking anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Start taking the actions first to be the person you want to be, to find your purpose, to like intentionally get lost, right?
Yes.
Because as soon as I started doing that, my anxiety diminished by like 1,000 degrees in every way. And I'm not a perfect I'm not a perfect person. We all have anxiety. It is a feature of life.
Yeah.
But to be able to have the confidence to know I can manage that anxiety and that stress when it comes up, no matter what, because I live in alignment with who I am. I do the things I say I'm going to do.
Yes.
That is why we're here today. And I think people forget that because they're like, well, it's an easy fix. I'd rather just have a pill fucking take care of everything instead of putting in the effort to actually get to know yourself.
1,000%. 1,000%. I mean, it shows that I think life literally shows you and mirrors things to you every single day. And it's just whether you are willing to sit with that for a long period of time and say, yeah, life is right because life is life, or life is against me. But even this podcast, right? Walking in, I'm a little nervous, but now it's this is the second podcast I've done. So it's like, but how do you get better? You can't be on Mel Robbins or Chris Williamson or all these top podcasts without taking the action. and it's not going to be perfect. There's like you make mistakes, but you just continuously trust yourself to tap back into who you say you want to be.
To that point, one of, I think, the greatest podcasters out there right now is Chris Griffin, and it's because he intentionally shows his fuck ups.
Yeah.
He posted a podcast that was literally completely blurry,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, I have the utmost respect for you.
Yeah.
Like, he's insane.
Yeah, well,
in the best way.
and I think that too is a fascinating, great point. Like even Nick, our mentor, he's sitting up on stage and he's saying these things, and he's not acting as he has it figured out, because none of us do. He's very successful. He's living a great life, but he's still coming down to earth, being humble and sitting with everyone else and just being like, bro, I'm just like y'all. And as a leader, as a person, like that is so cool to see him do, because you can see your mistakes, you can see your failures, you can see your wins, your everything. But we're so much more similar than we are different. And people tend to forget that and think like there's all this, all that, but it's not. We're very fucking similar.
We tend to idolize our leaders because
Yeah.
they think we're somewhere that we are not.
Yes.
And Nick is such a great embodiment of walking through the mud
Yeah.
with his people.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons we all love him.
Yes.
Is because he is truly a leader that leads by example.
Yeah.
And says, hey, I'm going through this fucking thing too. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
We're going to get on the other side of it together.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about how you bring that into your program.
Yeah. I think that's exactly that, right? So this program isn't fully built. Like I have a little cohort. I'm working with some athletes, helping them make those steps forward, right? So I started my in-person business. I started my little online. I have the summer camp. I'm still figuring shit out too. So I'm doing that exact same thing of, okay, I'm maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead, but like there's going to be days where I make a mistake. There's going to be days where this doesn't work out. But leading from that example of, okay, I see where you are. I see what you're struggling with. I was sitting in that situation a year, 2, 3 years ago. I know the little steps to move you forward, but I'm not going to act like I'm way over here, that I'm too good for that. So just that embodiment of, okay, we're in this together. And I think when people can see and understand you're in it together, they move in a forward progress faster. And people change the world in groups. Like everybody likes to act like a lone wolf is going to do it all. You need people in order to build anything great.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah. It's very true. I'm sitting with it for a minute because it makes a lot of sense. You think about Tony Robbins, right?
Yeah.
And like in essence, like, yeah, he's a lone wolf, but think about all of the lives he's touched who have then gone off.
Yeah.
And built something great because of it.
Yeah.
You know, or like he's worked with how many presidents now?
Yeah.
And how all of those presidents have influenced
Yeah.
our lives. Like regardless of political party.
Yes, 1,000%.
You think about Nick and the 200, almost 300 people that were in the room this weekend, and now all of them are going off to change lives. So yeah, it does happen in groups, and everything that we say and everything that we do impacts and inspires someone else.
Yes.
And then that person is going to take what they learned and go impact and inspire someone else.
1,000%.
It's just a trickle effect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I truly believe, I go back and forth with people all the time. I truly believe every single person has something greater that they can tap into. I don't think everybody can be Jeff Bezos, but I think everybody has a passion and a purpose that's bigger than themselves that they can help somebody else. And the more you can lean into it, the more you're going to feel more fulfilled, but you're also going to help other people. That's what it is.
One of the reasons I love what you're doing and your mission is because you're not just building another coaching program. Like, to quote you, you're building a movement, a community, and a transition ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's not just something little. So like, what does that actually mean to you?
Yeah. So yeah, I've been sitting with this for probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months now, where I've just been taking these small steps forward and towards what I want to do. But I think it means just giving athletes the vision and idea and creativity and thought process and purpose beyond the game. For so long, right, beyond the game. for, for so long, athletes are looked up upon, but after sport, it's just like, okay, kick them to the curb. Like nobody, there's a stigma that they have it figured out. There's a stigma that like it's working, but so many of them after the game just go do something that they don't care about. They don't have passion for. They don't even they lose that sense of self. They lose that creativity and that joy that they once had. I was talking to a dude probably a few months ago. He played football at Virginia Tech, and he hated what he's doing, and he's drinking, and you can just sense and feel the like feeling of lost and not knowing what's next. And I look at athletes like, you have so much in you. I look at everybody like that. Like there's so much in you. But athletes especially, like you already have the discipline. You already have these things that are going to propel you in that direction. So now if we can tap into, okay, we can have this person start moving this way, this person start moving this way. And then as the new athletes graduate, they don't feel like they have to just do something that their parents did or do something that they don't really care about. They can have other mentors in the program say, yo, I went through your struggle. I went through your pain. Now I'm doing this. And it's a fucking mirror. It's a mirror to what they can do, what's possible. But so many just lose themselves after sports, get into alcohol, get into drugs, college, pro level even. You see all these pro guys make a bunch of money. They have it all figured out. And then after they're done, I mean, they're on the street, they're homeless, or they're suffering in some way. So I just look at it like nobody was there for me in the sense of what's next other than me going out and making it happen. But now I want to be the person for those people that's like, okay, like let's go ride and let's go figure this shit out.
Tell me a little bit more about your story and how we got here today sitting in this chair.
So I was in high school sports. We'll go all the way back to high school. Played freshman football. Just loving football, loving the creation, loving the teammates, but I got hurt. I tore my meniscus. So that kept me out of the game for not 6 to 8 months. Meniscus totally torn. So I had to figure out, that was kind of the first smack in the face of, okay, what else outside of sport, but also how do I get back into sport? Because that's all I care about. Then sophomore year comes around and I don't make the team I want to make. So I'm back to playing on JV. JV as a sophomore is not bad. It's just not who I wanted to be. And I had this perception of everybody thought I was supposed to be on varsity. And in my own head, I thought I was the guy. Like I'm supposed to be there and I'm not. So that's like, you're walking around and everybody's like, well, this guy, and I'm in my head too. Like I didn't make it. So then you go to JV, you have a great season, you have a decent season. Then you get to junior year and it's COVID. So season's cut in half. You play a little bit, but it's not the idea of what you want. It's not what you want to do. And you still have that dream to go in college. Like you were telling yourself, it's college basketball. Like that is your route. School is not working out. So it's college basketball.
It's only one option.
Yeah. That pressure is like, fuck, like this needs to happen. My grades weren't like Fs, but they weren't good. It wasn't like an A student. And so then it's college basketball, or it's senior year, and I have a great year. We have a great season. I score a lot, assist a lot, make an impact. Get to college, however, and I'm like, okay, there's going to be a new chapter. It's going to be great. I'm going to go in this. I'm going to flow. I'm going to just kill it. And that's not what happened. Like I started out pretty strong. I started some games. I played some good minutes. And then I had this, and then to finish the season, I didn't play at all. So that was like, damn, like what in the world? Like, am I not putting the work? So now you're in your own head. Now your mental capacity is like, what in the world? Like everything you want, everything you're doing. Now it's all up here, anxiety, stress. Okay, now we move into sophomore year and you get a little brand deal. I don't know how the hell I got a brand. I mean, I was reaching out,
cool.
Right? It was cool. So I was reaching out to companies. I got a brand deal with Papa John's, And I'm like,
Nice.
what the hell? Like, let's go. So that was going back to like environment. That was my first kind of moment too, where I saw a little bit about what money could be, because they paid me like 2.5, 3,000 just for posting 6 posts. I was like, wow. Like I did lawn care. I did things growing up to make money, but I was like, there was nothing that was that easy. So that, going back to you spending time in the right environments, you're getting in the right rooms, you're getting around people that are doing things so you can see it's possible. So I do that. I make some money posting, but now there's another pressure of, you have this brand deal. Are you going to play? I'm like, well, I'm hoping I'm going to play. So I'm working it all off season. I get stronger. I come back 10 pounds heavier, whatever. And I'm in the season and I'm killing it. I'm knocking down every shot. I'm shooting like 55, 60% from 3. But there's this pressure of, in that voice, right? Of, can you do this? Can you keep doing it? Are you going to miss the next shot? Like, how long can you do this for without breaking? And eventually, like, I was stepping up every time, stepping up. I mean, I was like, it's that state of mind where nothing matters. You're just in that flow. Most athletes can relate to when I say that flow state, but I was in that state every practice, most games, and I was just knocking shit down. I get to that peak point though, where it breaks and it slips and everything just starts going crumbling down. And that's where I got into the drugs and the alcohol. And I was like, fuck, like, there is nothing that is lighting me up. There's nothing that, like, how can I come back from this? Like, I was at this point. So it's a smack in the face, and you mentally go through it because it's all you know. It's everything. It's everything to you. So you're mentally stressed about games. You're mentally stressed about school. You're mentally stressed about like the environment you're in. Sun's still not coming up. So you're still looking like, damn, where's that sun?
This is a cloud of gray.
Cloud of gray. But things just, then I started blaming things, and that's when I really started tapping into, okay. But I started blaming my environment. I started blaming the people. I started blaming coaches. I started blaming this and that. And really, I just need to look back inwards and say, okay, do you want to be that person that you say you are? And it's funny, I'm thinking about it now, but it was a test from God of, it's the mirror. It's the, you want to be this. I told myself, like, I want to be that overseas player. And he mirrored to me what I needed to do to get to be that version of myself. And I didn't, right? So that's the whole, I'm in my head, I'm like, holy shit, this, this, and this. And I keep getting these mirrors. Obviously at the time, I don't know it's a mirror. I'm just living life. I'm going through it unconsciously. But then I'm like, okay, now my mental space is bad. Like, it got to the point, like, over winter break, I was like, I don't want to go back to school. Like, I don't want to go. And I went back, we figured it out, and I started making those decisions to keep moving forward. But I got to that junior year, and I was like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to be in this environment. I don't want to do this. And what's after the game? What's after this sport? So that tapped into, okay. And there was multiple injuries along the way but I was blaming those injuries, right? And I'm blaming these other situations and players and this and that, instead of just looking in and being like, yo, like, this is your fault. It's hard to sit with that. It's very hard, especially when you're in that space and that frame of mind of like, shit isn't going your way, and you have to look at yourself and be like, it's not going your way because of you. And I was like, I mean, I think about it now and I'm like, damn. But so you have to sit with it, and then you get to junior year and I'm like, okay, this is the mirror became very clear of, I'm going to have to do this, and I don't want to do this to become that player anymore. So where else am I going to go? And that's where I made that decision. One of the hardest decisions in my life, to leave everything I've known, leave my boys, leave the environment, because it was what it was. And you walk that other road, and immediately you start getting that is this the right decision? Is this the path I want to take? Is this the thing that I want to do? Did I make a mistake? And then you have people around you start saying things because they don't know any different. So it's an insane experience to not know what's next. Everyone that you know and care for is saying, what are you doing? And you don't even fucking know what you're doing. And you're just moving. You're just kind of living, and you're like I said, am I making those right decisions? So mentally you're jacked, externally you're jacked. It's like everything's jacked. And you're just sitting in there like, wow. But you go back to, okay, I'm going to hire this coach. I'm going to make that decision to try and get myself out of it. And that's when you start writing and you start reading and you start learning more about who you are yourself. And that allowed me to keep pushing forward. But yeah, from the first mentor, and first mentor was great. Then I hired 2 mentors that were horrible. So 2 of them, I paid a bunch of money to just see it go into the trash can. But you learn, right? You learn from those experiences of, okay, now I can pick up a little bit more about how that person operates, how they see the world, how other people operate. Are they going to just rip me, or are they going to be authentic about who they are? So you pick up a lot about like human psychology and all that. And then you keep moving, keep doing things. And then I was like, okay, now I need to make money because I'm posting, but I'm not making any more money. Like I did the Papa John's thing, but now I need to go make money in person. And then I'm making money in person. I'm building the business. I'm building the summer camp. And then I'm taking these steps to push myself in the right direction. Like even coming here for a weekend, which turned to a week, but learning who and where you want to go and where you want to grow. Yeah.
First, I want to hit on, I think it's fucking hilarious that you thought it was, you literally booked the wrong weekend. That was fucking funny.
Well, what's crazy is it was the weekend.
And then that's right. And then
he
switched
it.
I forgot about that.
I was like, yo, I'm here. I'm in Austin.
We're doing the conference, solo conference.
Yeah.
No, that was funny. But I think most people would have taken that and been so fucking frustrated.
Yeah.
They would have been negative about it. And you turned it into an opportunity.
Yeah. I think that's the big thing is everything I look in life is a positive. There's a positive, there's gold in every fucking thing you do, which is like crazy to say and crazy to think. But even like the speakers this weekend, they're like, my dad just died, but in that I learned this. And if you can continuously have that optimistic and positive outlook on what was the positive from this situation, there's nothing that can stop you.
How do you find the positive in a situation that seems completely dark?
So dark. I don't think you find it immediately. Sometimes you do, but I don't think you find it all the time. But like you were saying earlier, it's chinks in the armor, slowly, and you start moving forward.
Before you said conscious versus unconscious, what did you mean by that?
So there's the conscious mind that you're aware of everything you're doing. And then there's the unconscious. I go back to the easiest example is when you're driving a car, it's so rigid into you that you don't really think about stepping on the gas or stepping on the brake. You're kind of just driving. But there's other examples in life that you kind of just do. Even waking up and kind of taking the bathroom break. You don't really think about going to the bathroom. You're just like, I need to go to the bathroom. Eating. You don't really think about, oh my God, I need to eat. I'm hungry, so I'm going to go eat. But there are things that you tap into that are more conscious of what you're doing and why you're doing it. I think why is one of the most powerful questions or that powerful word, because you can continuously ask why for so many times and slowly start figuring out an answer. But like I was saying earlier, when you can bring that unconscious conscious, and you can start seeing what you're not seeing. Like next time you even go for a drive and like think about all the little things, like, okay, I'm gonna go step on the gas, I'm gonna go step on the brake, I'm gonna turn my music up, I'm gonna watch out for that squirrel, I'm gonna think about this, I'm gonna think about that. But so often we just allow the unconscious. I think it's 90% of the unconscious mind runs how we think and how we operate. So it's just like training a muscle, just like you train in the gym. It's training your mind to think the other way and say, okay, I'm going to be more conscious of this.
Andrew, where can we find you?
Yeah. So Instagram is Andrew_Gorkowski, Gorkowski.
Thank you for spelling it.
Some people get confused with that. I think Facebook's the same. And YouTube, it's Electric Fitness 169, which is kind of interesting.
Love it. Well, we'll post all your socials in the comments for everyone to see. Guys, go check out Andrew's stuff. He's fucking amazing. Andrew, thank you for being on Expert Rookie. We all love you. And yeah, that's it.